All right, let's see if we can figure this out. You got a pattern, right? It goes a little something like this. I grew up in New York City. We got bodegas on every corner. I don't know what they call them where you at, but they're everywhere. And if you in the hood, you know that they're going to put a corner store on every single corner from your house to school to work. Now, the thing is this. I also grew up in white neighborhoods. I lived in rich neighborhoods and I lived in dirt poor neighborhoods. And I always just noticed in rich neighborhoods, there was never no corner stores. There was never a corner store. You always had to go to like a 7-Eleven, or you had to go and travel to like a some kind of convenience store or something. And it wasn't even 24 hours. They shut down like 10 o'clock or something like that. But in the hood, for some reason, you always got a store, and it's a corner store, and it's 24 hours, and it's always there and selling garbage. You know what I mean? And I'm putting this video out here because I noticed I was a victim of this well-designed system of sugar, corn, starch, genetically engineered garbage, and just this scientific experiment that's played out on us in our community. I mean, and check it out how it goes. I mean, you walk into the store, and we all did this, you know what I mean? Especially if you grew up in the hood, in the ghetto or something like that. We all did this. And what we don't even realize is we grew up off of this and lived off of it. And because we grew up and lived off of it, we don't even understand we grew up with this embedded thought process that is kind of comes installed with a block, and it's got us all messed up. You walk into the store. What do you see right in front of you? I'm going to tell you what you see. You see cake right there in front of you. Now, what's in this cake that's in front of you? The first ingredient is genetically engineered sugar. All right. The second ingredient is partially hydrogenated cottonseed and or soybean oil, both genetically engineered. Okay. And then after that, you got dextrose and corn derivatives and corn solids and all kinds of, and then propylene glycol and all kinds of garbage. So you just look right there. You looked at cake, you know, you got the little Debbie's and the cinnamon this and the cinnamon this and the cinnamon that. When it comes down to it, no matter what all that garbage is, it's just a bunch of wheat flour and sugar. It's just a bunch of GMO flour and sugar. That's all you get. Bunch of GMO corn, flour, and sugar right there. Boom. And then you turn, right? You go, all right, cool, I want some chips. So you turn over here, and then you go to get some chips. Now, what do you see there? There's nothing but genetically engineered potato chips and genetically engineered corn chips and a bunch of different flavors. But regardless, it's just a shelf full of genetically engineered garbage. Now, you don't know this is a cake going in there. I don't know nobody tell you this, and you're not even putting this together because you really think in your head you're separating. You're like, I'm going to go get me some cake, then I'm going to go get me some chips, and then after that, yeah, you're about to walk your dumb ass over there, and you're about to go grab you a drink made with dirty tap water. Because if you picture the drink being made in the factory, they got to make as much money as possible. They ain't got time to be changing huge ass filters and filtering all this water and doing all this extra for some dumb person that's just going to buy a drink packed with sugar in the first place. I wouldn't do it for you either. So basically, you go in there, you grab this drink. First ingredient is water. Second ingredient is high fructose corn syrup. Third ingredient is artificial colors and or flavors. And then the fourth ingredient is sodium benzoate. Then after that, you know, depending on what kind of color you wanted, they're going to hit you with the yellow 5. You know what I'm saying? The red 40, you know, which causes hyperactivity in your children, causes ADD, and just causes seizures and causes your brain not to function right, and not for you to be able to hit a trigger. Right from there, you got your cake. You came in, you got your cake, genetically engineered cake, corn, garbage. Then you got your genetically engineered corn chip garbage. Then you got your liquid sugar, high fructose corn shit garbage. Now, you get to the counter, right? You're getting ready to buy everything. What do they got there at the counter? Come on, man. I've been doing this for a while, man. I learned from the A-Rap. Man, we got annihilators, man. We got annihilators all over the place. We got the Twizzlers popping out. We got the Laffy Taffy, the everything. But really, we just got a bunch of high fructose corn syrup and artificial coloring in different forms, and animal gelatin with injected with sugar. All the chewy candy is animal gelatin. They boil up the blood and the bones from turkey. They don't waste nothing. They boil all this stuff up. The gel gets to the top. They scrape that nasty gel off the top. They put it in a vat. They clear it up a little bit. They add some sugar, artificial flavor, and now you over here giving your kids, gummy worms and gummy bears. You let them eat the gummy worms. You such a good parent. No, you really are, though. You really are. And that's the problem in our community. There's no vision. We can't even see that this is happening right in front of us, and that when our kids, right before they get on that bus, because you used to be them, you hitting your drugstore. It's not a corner store. It's a drugstore. And as long as you on those drugs, you're not going to be thinking correctly. You're not going to be able to compute anything in school. You're going to end up in the special ed classes. Because being on that food is like holding down a number 2 on the calculator, trying to add 4 plus 4 and get 8. It's never going to happen. And that's the problem. Okay? So what we got to do is you got to change the direction of your children while they're young. Because what happens is they just grow up to be a bunch of sugar fiends and starch addicts just like us, not thinking correctly. But by then, we've already made those wrong decisions and we regret them because our brain wasn't nourished correctly. So just take a step back and try and hone their minds a little bit so, we can get our youth out of these streets so that they can just stop losing their minds because they're being medicated. They're being medicated by the government because this is all by design, man. We can't just keep letting this shit happen. All right? We got to stop dosing. We got to stop dosing. Every day, we got to stop the dosing. Later.